Good evening. We'll bring the Douglas Cable Advisory Committee meeting of Monday, May 14th to order. The time is 7:04. We have one member absent due to the fact that he is out of town, but we still are graced with the presence of Fred Fontaine, Chris Mann, and myself, Tom Devlin. Want to remind people, well, first of all, I should mention that this meeting is being recorded on newly installed cameras, which should give the viewer a much sharper image and make it a little more exciting to watch. And on that note, we have one vacancy on this committee, and we'd love to have that vacancy filled. If anybody's interested, you can email us at cable@douglasma.org or give us a call at Town Hall, 508-476-4000, extension 222, if you're at all interested. And we'll make sure you get all the information needed to do that. We have our year-to-date and monthly expenditures. This is for the month of April. And on full-time wages for the month of April, we have spent $2,339, and for part-time wages, $1,272, for a total of $3,612. The total for the year on that is $33,525. And then on the other expenses, we have $60 for county retirement, $55 for an employee training seminar, $175.18 for other services, which is basically internet access. And finally, we purchased equipment for a total of $558 for total cable advisory expense of $848, a year-to-date total of $9,363. And that is all we have spent our funds on this month, and so we are doing well. Also in your packets, there are a couple of things I signed off on. We purchased a new Mac Mini workstation for. You want to explain what that's for, Pat?
Sure. We had previously had an iMac set up in the resource room recording rack for the staff member who's recording to be able to go online and access the Azure Key, which is the recording unit, or the Tightrope, which is our broadcast software, to be able to go live for meetings. So we need like a unit within that rack or near that rack for someone to work online to be able to do these things while they're recording like Board of Selectmen meetings. And that iMac was pretty old, right around replacement time, and really a Mac Mini will do the exact same functions that, the iMac was a little bit of overkill for that job, but the Mac Mini is like a perfect little machine for it. So it's really for the staff to use while they're recording.
And it fits on the rack, and it's nice and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes up a little space. So that's that expense. You went to the Mass Access conference.
Mm-hmm.
For that amount, and that's for travel, I would assume, for the for postage.
That was
that's
the,
right.
that
The
was
postage
the
reimbursements. We purchased a couple of backpacks for the equipment, which we really didn't want once we got them, and so they went back. And finally is our monthly internet charges from Charter for access to the internet. The one thing that isn't paid for out of our license agreement, which moves us on to the minutes of the previous meeting of April 9th. Do we have any questions about those minutes?
Looking for a motion?
Yes, looking for a motion.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes Monday, April 9th as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. We have a bunch of correspondence back and forth. It turns out that in our license with Charter, after the 4th year of this contract, we don't go back every year and ask the selectmen to set the rate. And Suzanne pointed this out to Suzanne Kane pointed this out to me, that we basically are going for a 3% raise for the duration of the contract. So this is the letter from the town to Charter asking for that 3% increase, which will be a total amount for which would be our budget for fiscal 20 of $63,549.
No, that's for 19.
I'm sorry,
Nope.
I have this wrong. This is from last year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we were supposed to get it a lot earlier in the year,
Okay,
and apparently they had it.
Yeah,
It was returned to them.
there was a snafu. The letter was addressed to the town. It was delivered on a Friday. It went back to the post office, and then it was sent back to Shrewsbury, and went back to Brockton, and then it finally showed up here fairly recently. And so it has been deposited finally, but not quite sure why the post office couldn't find the town hall to deliver the envelope. But we do have other charter correspondence. Upcoming changes that they let us know about. After on or about May 21st, Animal Planet will move from Spectrum pricing package SPP Tier 1 to wider availability on all lineups. We have a memo from the town administrator with regards to the purchase of office supplies and office equipment. It seems like there has been a problem with the vendor, so that all requests for these purchases for the time being will go through the town treasurer and the town administrator until they can sort that whole situation out. It shouldn't affect us too greatly. We aren't in the market for too much in the way of office supplies or furniture. We have a sort of an email exchange with one of our citizens of Douglas, who was asking about the franchise fee, which is paid monthly with your Charter cable subscription, and about using those funds to distribute the video of the meetings to all take-comers. And it's my response was that the meetings are all done by equipment paid for by the town and are distributed to the town. It was also suggested that the Charter is losing cable customers, since a lot of people are rumored to be cutting the cord with TV and just getting the internet at home. However, the numbers we have in 2015, we had 2,372 cable subscribers in town, and in the last year we had a slight increase up to 2,384 cable Charter TV subscribers. So we have suggested we will continue doing what we're doing to make the meetings transparent as possible to not only the citizens of the town, but anyone else in the world who would care to look. Another letter from Charter talking about more changes in the lineups effective on or after June 4th. It's one that does not affect us, but in all areas, Newsy is being added to the SPP Tier 1 Silver and SPP TV Premier. I assume that's a news headlines service, which I have yet to watch. And Fusion Channel from Univision, which is supposed to be on SPP Tier 1 and SPPP varieties that was scheduled for April has been postponed to a later date. We have received a note from the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and want to go through this one, Pat?
Sure.
You're more familiar with what we do.
Yeah, so every year we tape the Memorial Day Parade, and they keep us updated with, basically the lineup of who's marching and the order of marching, where they're going to be marching to. It really doesn't change year to year that much.
Just the weather.
Yeah, just the weather. And, we usually just kind of, I usually have at least 2 people working it because there's 4 different stops that they
Right.
make.
Yes.
So I'll have the first person start, the second person will be at the second stop, so they kind of overlap each other. So as soon as the parade goes by the first stop, the first person goes to the third stop, second person, as soon as they're done, goes to the 4th stop. So we're just kind of crisscrossing over each other. It can be done with one person, but there's a lot of running around when it's just you in 4 different stops. So they just keep us in the loop.
Yes. I was at the cemetery near the Old Town Common one morning dropping off some flowers one year, not realizing that there is a VFW Color Guard and Firing Squad that forms up there on Memorial on that Sunday morning. So it's nothing like a surprise of hearing the sound of drummers and coming across. But that's Sunday of Memorial Day weekend, and I encourage everyone to attend. It's an annual affair. It honors our soldiers and those who have fought for the freedom of this country. So please attend.
The last one I just added.
Okay, and then I should mention that the parade actually starts at about what time? It's Sunday, May 27th, and it's
Well, they do like the early morning.
right. They do the early morning, and then the
We just follow.
parade is at 1:30.
We follow the
1:30 starts at Michigan Square, which is at Weston Main Street.
Where's Michigan Square?
Michigan is the corner of Weston Main. You know, where the flag is. The one that's West Street that's hard to get out of
Yeah.
because you're coming in at an angle. And the last piece of correspondence here is with Steve Zisk from the
Conservation.
Conservation Committee. We've proposed a change because Steve, for time immemorial, since we've been videotaping or recording these meetings, not videotaping anymore, has basically recorded the meetings and set up the things, and so we are now going to supply a cable recording assistant to record those meetings so that Steve is relieved of those duties, and we'll have somebody there for those nights that he cannot attend. So, any questions or any of those guys? This is our proposed fiscal 20 budget.
Yes.
We have some time to get to this, though.
We definitely do. Yeah, I just knowing that we generally propose it to the Board of Selectmen in July.
Yeah, okay. No, actually, I'm going to go see them tomorrow.
You're gonna go see them tomorrow night, so I
But-
figured we.
but what I was starting to say earlier is that it seems that our license with Charter, after the 4th year, we go into a basic 3% increase for the next 6 years. So,
Right.
so the total we'll be getting is 3% of that 65,000 that we spoke of earlier. And at that point, we'll just have to figure out how we want to allocate those funds and take another look at our 5-year plan to see where we want to make improvements. Does that sound reasonable?
Sounds good.
But I am going to the selectmen tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll even say anything, but if anybody else would like to attend, I'd be happy to have the company. But, yeah, we'll take a closer look at how these numbers have shown up and how we can deal with those. And then we have the cable coordinators report.
All right, so attached is the April meetings report.
Yes. Just one paid that was last minute cancellation.
Yes, he was booked to do the library committee, but the library ended up coming in and sitting with the Board of Selectmen the whole time. I don't believe they had another meeting outside of that.
Okay,
so
yeah, okay.
Technically,
No, that must have been the
Yeah.
night of the informational meeting.
yeah, I think.
Okay. Okay,
Yep,
very good.
that type of thing happens every now and again.
Hard to miss, hard to get them all. But this is a wonderful report. Thanks for trimming things down to the point where there's so few accidents like that.
So just some updates. April 24th, Board of Selectmen informational meeting was streamed over YouTube. It was kind of an experimental stream. We hadn't done it before. We had set up the room with a separate PA system to assure that folks in the room would be able to hear. We anticipated a lot of people being in the audience. Unfortunately, the way we set it up, it compromised the live stream audio and the live broadcast audio that night. And we did correct it about halfway through. We made some adjustments. But the recorded version, I went through and audio corrected it all so that the recorded version is totally listenable, the one that got broadcast after the fact. So it was an experimental setup from the get-go. April 26th, the Historical Society sponsored The Value of Old and Rare Books with Ken Gloss down at the Jenks store. And they had requested that we tape it, so we sent someone down to record. We broadcast. It's being broadcast now on the public channel. April 26th, the Senior Center hosted the town administrator and finance director to discuss the 2.5 override vote. That was recorded, broadcast on the public channel. May 2nd, the Senior Center hosted Douglas High School Senior Project virtual reality demo with Luke and Aaron from the high school. That was recorded and broadcast on public channel. May 4th, the Mass Access Spring Conference and Trade Show. Just a little ditty that they do up there every year and some interesting stuff.
Is there stuff we need to buy?
No stuff this time.
Okay.
They did have a nice virtual reality setup though. I don't know how that gets worked into community access, but it was fun. May 7th, the annual town meeting was recorded. The plan actually went off without a hitch. The video looks really great. The audio was nice. And there was no problems the night of. I do want to mention Donna Souza at the high school. She did a really great job in the sound booth and preparing the overflow room.
I never got into the overflow.
I think there was like one person in there maybe. So
Jerome.
yeah, but they didn't go any back and forth with
Yeah.
it at all. I think everyone fit into the
Yeah.
main area.
Yeah, that's fortunate.
And Fred did a nice job running the mics around. I saw.
He did.
Pretty busy guy.
Must have lost weight that night.
May 9th through today, the resource room, which we're in right now, and the community room, which is next door, we had new video components installed. So we basically replaced all of our PTZ cameras. They're now high definition. So we've improved the quality of the video. And we also have new video switchers, camera controllers, because in both rooms we can control all the cameras with little joysticks, or a staff member can control all the different shots. And they both have a new multi-view program and preview monitor, so it's one monitor that has all the different screens on it. It's quite an upgrade. So tonight's the first night that they're getting used. They literally just finished up right before we started. So
They actually 360 around, so we could actually put one in the middle here.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
really
they're pretty
intimidate
nice.
everyone
Yeah.
who holds a meeting here. So that's good news. That's,
yeah, that was our big project this year that we wanted to get all the cameras replaced and some of the video equipment upgraded, because we had been stuck to standard definition workflow, which is just really impossible to try and mix the two worlds, you know. So now we're getting a lot more into the HD world, which is going to be easier for us moving forward. We still broadcast in standard definition until Charter gives us an HD channel, but now at least we could start talking to them about it, you know.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but I have yet to figure out why they still broadcast in standard definition. It just seems like they maintain a lot of old equipment for people who. There can't be too many people without flat screens anymore.
They probably just have like 200 VCRs set up, and they just have a guy plugging in
probably.
VHS tapes.
Yeah, so okay.
All right. Upcoming this week, I'm going to be doing the Valley Tech School Committee meeting. We draw that straw every now and again. On the 28th, or is it the 27th now? I'm thinking of it. Well, the Memorial Day Parade and ceremony is coming up. That's another one that we.
That is indeed the 27th.
Okay, the 27th.
Sunday.
Yep, that's coming up real fast. And then June, I've started discussions with the school tech director, Donna Souza, where we just gutted 2 racks of equipment. I'm gonna take the stuff over to her and see what we could maybe use in the school racks, because right now the school racks are all still standard definition. So we could slide some of this stuff into their use and maybe fix some of their immediate issues that way.
Okay.
You know, before we talk about buying anything for that, I wanted to get over and see what they could use and see if we could scavenge for now. And that's about it. And then I have a couple of equipment items in the back just to discuss. Nothing to, well, one thing to look at immediately, but.
Well, let's go through them then.
All right, so the first quote is, these are the integrated solutions quotes. The first quote is for the overhead mics for this room. I was gonna try and get them to do them when they did the old install, but we just didn't line it up correctly. But essentially to have 2 hanging mics installed in this room for audience, picking up the audience, people who are speaking in the audience.
Did you say 2?
Yeah.
Just 2?
I mean, we could do more if you think. We had 2 before, so that's what I was going for, is kind of zone areas, but
It
zone
seems
1, zone 2, but.
Seems like 3 would be a better number for covering the room.
The other thing is we'd have to just make sure that,
We have enough inputs.
well, the other thing is that we have another mic mixer that's actually in the unit that deals with the PA system alone. And we were discussing the possibility if they gave us the updated version of that, it would actually communicate with the other mixer that we have and would turn that into a bigger, a bigger mixer with maybe a couple more mic inputs. So that's something I'd have to discuss with them and figure out first, and then so I'll get back to you guys on this. Then you think 3 mics would be ideal?
What do you think?
Well, this kind of ties in. I spoke to Pro Sound Service about the whole audio system in here, and he said he could set up a time to come out the first couple weeks of this month, which has already gone by, I guess. So he said if I don't hear from him, to reach out to him. So I'll reach out to him tomorrow. So
Okay.
maybe before we do anything, we get him to
Yeah, get a hold,
Sure.
because I mean,
Recommendations.
we're coming up to the slow season on meetings, so
Yeah.
we have some time. So yeah, that'd be great. Super.
So we'll
Thanks.
hold off on that item. Just the next one is for it's a Tightrope live streaming server. So with the new video equipment that we have now, it doesn't come out of the box with streaming capability. We'd have to tag some other equipment onto it in order to stream. This unit would be integrated with our current broadcast system. It would just be another box that they put in, and what happens is it essentially it would take a channel, like our government channel, and it would push it live all the time. So someone could dial in and look at, essentially our government channel, what's being broadcast, and watch it online. If we go live for something, it's automatically online. So it essentially pushes the entire government channel online without any additional staff touching it, which for me is ideal because a lot of the staff that does the recordings, they've been trained how to do the recordings and everything. But when we start getting into broadcasting, streaming, stuff like that, it's a little bit more piled on to, you know, when you're about to go live for the Board of Selectmen, it can be tricky the more things you have to do, you know. So, you know, I think that we can either probably get something, you know, piece of equipment that a staff member would have to push live, or if we did something like this, it would just push the whole channel live at all times.
I guess,
Just bringing up the idea.
right, yeah, right now, the only meeting we do live is the selectmen.
Correct, yep.
So anybody else that meets in this room is potentially live. Well, we just have chosen not to do it.
Right, correct. Right now, the policy is just Board of Selectmen. So, as it stands, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's worth it, but
Yeah, I think that's another thing we should think about. It's good to do Board of Selectmen. I don't know if how useful doing other meetings live would be. I mean, at least it would give people the opportunity to see them live. Any thoughts on? Mull this over.
With no big issues in town, I think the call for it isn't gonna be all that great.
Right.
But there
Yeah.
eventually will be, something's gonna come up that there will be, so I think being prepared for it, so keeping it in mind,
Yeah. Okay.
maybe not doing it right now, keeping it in mind, and maybe.
Yeah.
at least we know this option's here. I can, you know, maybe get another couple options that we can have down the line, and,
Okay.
you know, there might be other stuff out there that
Okay.
will automatically push something that we don't have to necessarily have someone, you know,
Yeah.
finagle with.
Is there even, I'm thinking of software on the Mac Mini that could push something out?
That the way I was doing it before was through the Mac Mini. I was using the OBS, Open Broadcasting software, which is a free software. But the new one I'd probably have to get a go-between for the video switching software and then into the Mac Mini. Whereas the old video switcher that we had just had it built in, which I suppose I could hook that up too, but that'd be a messy hookup just for that, you know.
More wires.
Yeah, I mean, but with streaming, I mean, there's a lot of options out there that we could look at. So
Yeah, we probably should
we'll just
look
pile them up.
some other options out there then.
Sure.
Because basically anything that's being broadcast is also available on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, so it's sort of already. This would really just push. So you know, you go to our website, click on, you know, make it a page or whatever. You click on it, and it just has everything. Essentially, just YouTube, but with the capability of having it live automatically.
So you'd open up the webpage and there it would be.
Yeah. But you know.
Yeah, that's.
Like you said, I think if we have people clamoring, because I think the live streaming, we really didn't have a lot of people interested in it before this particular set of issues came up. A lot of people are interested in it then. Like you said, I don't know if it's going to continue to be, but I figured we'd, you know, I got the quote just in case, and it's something that's adaptable to our current.
Okay.
It does just live, it doesn't host on demand.
Right, yeah, they do have an on-demand section too that you could, you know, we could do that as well. But for that, I think that the YouTube is actually better because I think they have a limit on their on-demand
Oh, might as
stuff.
well use YouTube's bandwidth instead of ours.
Yeah, right. So, just an interesting product. And then the last quote that I have on there is for a newer product for wireless presentation, and it plays well with Mac and PC, Android, iOS, and it's essentially like an Apple TV, but for all those different. The only catch there is that the presenter coming in, if they wanted to have something up on the screen, they would have to download an app that works with the present. You know, so I mentioned it to Tom, and so that's probably the only thing that's kind of weird about it is that people would have to download an app. So again, it's just a new product that came out. I just wanted to have us check it
So
out.
that's basically to get.
So if someone came in with a laptop into that room or this room, they'd be able to just download the app, you know, click on screen sharing, essentially screen mirroring,
Right.
and it would pop up on the screen.
Do people often have laptops that don't have HDMI out?
We don't deal with it that often. And you know, we have the VGA and HDMI in both rooms are available. So again, this is just one of those, it was kind of a new product that they just told me about, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I figured I'd just put eyes on it and
Okay,
keep it in our thoughts, you know.
because have we sorted out all the issues with our VGA here that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, or, I mean, the HDMI, that was
The very last time that I plugged this into everything worked properly. So, you know,
okay.
I didn't change any settings or anything, so it's awkward. But yeah, and usually the problems that we have on here are either a user error, like someone has a setting on their computer that we don't know about. You know, that can really mess the system up pretty bad.
Yeah, that's the tough part is
But-
not
So
everybody
that's
has a
it.
Mac.
Yeah, if everyone just had a Mac, it'd be great.
Yeah, it's plug and play. So,
And that's all I have.
that's it, huh? So, one thing that we will have to put on the agenda for our June meeting is the reorganization of the board, because it's that time of the year again. So if you want to start your campaign to be chairman of the Cable Advisory Committee, you can start it now. And that's pretty much all we have to go over tonight. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.